Okay, so welcome. Thank you, Miss
Hi.
Crystal, for being with me today. I'm Christina Carpenter, and you are Crystal Daye. So let's introduce you. You are a global book and marketing coach. You are a 10x author. Are an international speaker. So tell us more about those things.
Okay, well, again, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. It is truly a blessing. And the work that you're doing is amazing. So I pray that, this episode will go there and bless the listeners. So again, I'm Crystal Daye. I'm from the beautiful island of Jamaica. So maybe you hear the little accent. I'm from Jamaica. And, I would always tell persons that for me, I always enjoyed writing as a child. It was more like a way of escape. You'd always write a journal, a diary, and just their diary kind of vibe. But at no point I felt like I would become an author. Like it wasn't one of those things that I thought about. I always also knew that I wanted to impact people. So I wanted to become a politician because that was the way I thought that, would be a great way for me to, impact others. Fast forward to, just the life that I'm currently living. Like you mentioned, that I'm an international speaker, I'm a 10 times author. I'm also the CEO of Daylight Publishers. And in January 2017, I left my 9-to-5 job to launch out into Kingdom Entrepreneurship, to launch my business. And since then, I have helped over 500 authors to birth the book that God has placed on their hearts. So books has been very important to me in my life, just at one as a reader, because growing up in poverty, books were my way of escape to give me bigger dreams. Also, just as a publisher, books allow me to help others to leave an impact and a legacy beyond them. And as an author, myself, I've been able to live my dream of impacting others through my words. So, that's a little bit about what I do, who I am. So thank you.
Awesome. So you want to be a politician. That's interesting. So that really helps in your leadership style and how you're doing so many things.
Yes, I think growing up, so as I mentioned, I grew up in a very poor community. The community I grew up in was very plagued with violence. There were many nights that we had to go to our beds hungry. There were days we went to school without lunch money. So that was my reality. And for me, I've always had this desire to help people. And because I grew up poor, the only way I thought that I could help people is through politics, because politics would allow you to have the resources to help other people in the inner city. So that was where I kind of, and like you said, I'm the eldest child of my parents. So from as young, I was very self-motivated. I was always that leader, even though I'm the leader in my family. Like everybody comes to Crystal, so I'm grateful for the gift of leadership that I've had. I don't always think that I'm the best leader, but then, you always know that you're a growing leader.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. And your first book, you've written how many books?
So currently I have 10 books. I tell people I've written about 14 books, but I've published only 10 so far, because there are books that I've written that I've not gotten the release to put out there yet. My first book is Living a Royal Reality. And the subtitle is Discovering Your Identity, Purpose, and Worth in Christ. And that was released in 2016. And one of the major reasons I wrote that was because before I became a Christian, I was living such I would say, just a promiscuous life. At age 9, I was molested. At age 16, I did my first abortion. I was just, even though I was climbing the corporate ladder, there were aspect of my life that was not very pleasing. So when I became a Christian, I started to pursue what I believe was purpose. And it allowed me to be able to share the mess that I've been through to become a message to others. So that was how that book was birthed. And one of the major goals for that book, to be honest, because I was in Jamaica and doing my research, there wasn't a lot of persons that their books were on Amazon, etc. So my goal was to become an Amazon bestseller within, like I was like, within 6 months, I want to become an Amazon bestseller. But I did a lot of marketing, and within 48 hours of the book being released, it became an Amazon bestseller. And, that was just a big deal back
Wow.
then, because it showed when we checked, over 1,000 persons had published, had purchased the book within 1 week, and I did not have a major platform like I have now. I was just starting up. So it just showed me that, there were persons that were passionate about hearing what I had to say.
Wow, 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 wow. So you turned your mess into your message.
Yes.
And you decided to pursue purpose. That is awesome. I love that idea of pursuing purpose. And so you help other people publish now?
Yes. So through my publishing company, I help persons to publish the books. Now, I tell persons that there are 4 stages to becoming what I call a profitable author CEO, right? And I call it an author CEO because the truth is, once you become an author, you are automatically an entrepreneur. And I don't want you to just be an entrepreneur. I want you to be the CEO of your life first, because that means you're taking responsibility, but also the CEO of your own brand. Because once you become an author, again, your brand is growing. So I want it to be the CEO of your app. So the 3 stages are writing, which is moving from the head. So I have an idea to getting it to a draft manuscript. Then you have the second stage, which is the publishing, getting the draft manuscript to a published book. So you already have the book in your hand. Then you have the marketing stage, which is getting the book from your hand, publishing, to the hands of the readers. And then you have the monetization stage, which is now, how can I turn this book into multiple streams of income, whether through courses, speaking, retreats, etc. So those are the 4 stages that I teach my authors how to become a profitable author CEO.
Okay, cool. Repeat those 4 stages again.
Writing, publishing, marketing, and monetizing. And in between marketing, there's also the branding stage, but I normally put the branding on the marketing, because branding is now, how do you get known for what is it that you want to be seen out there as an expert in.
Right. And you said you want them to become CEOs of their life. And can you explain more about that?
So as I meant, so when I say profitable author CEO, persons always think about just building a book business. And I'm like, even before you build a book business as a book, CEO of your life, meaning that I use the word CEO as chief we call it executing officer. So not executive, the chief executing officer. And I say this because I'm very big in goal setting and stuff. And there are so many people that are going out there that are having dreams, that are having, visions, and they're not moving. And I believe that, you have to execute those dreams that God has placed on your heart. So being the CEO of your life means, okay, how am I building a holistic, successful life? So I don't just want to have money, but I want to have good health. I don't just want to have good health, but I want to have good relationships, with my children. So being CEO of your life means, having that holistic success first, but also while you're building your business, which a lot of times, especially in the current market, our business is based on our message. A lot of persons are building what I call empowerment empires. So we're building our business around our own empowering others. So you see the Lisa Nichols, the Les Brown, you see the Brené Brown, you see all of these people that have been building businesses based on the message around their own lives.
Good. Yes. Brene Brown, Les Brown. Yes. And so when you've worked with people who have written books, right? What kind of books are you helping them to write?
All right. So again, I start from persons that have an idea. So there are persons that come to me like, hey, I just have an idea for a book, but I just don't know how to bring it to life. So I'm a certified master life coach. So I'm able to, and that's I think that's also what makes me very unique, because I'm not just a consultant, I'm literally a coach. So I'm coaching you through your story. I'm coaching you to get clear on what is it to create your framework for whatever the book looks like. I mostly focus on books that are I only focus on non-fiction books, books that are doing 3 major things. It's empowering you, entertaining you, or are educating you. So I don't publish and I don't work with persons that are, putting out anything that's contradictory to my faith, because I built a business that is very important. My values are important, and faith is an important value. So you don't have to be a Christian to work with me, but if you're going to publish anything that is pornographic or, violence prone, or anything that is promoting anything that is, universe, anything that is contradictory to my Christian faith. I'm not interested in that because I want to help persons to live impact-driven lives. So the books that are going out there is supposed to be impacting others.
Good, good, good. Awesome. And your website, where can they find you?
All right, so my publishing website is Daylight, which is my last name, DAYELIGHT, daylightpublishers.com. So you can, go on my publishing website to see more about how I can help you to bring your book to life, or even for those who are independently published authors. I do work with persons who have already published and they're like, my books are not selling, Crystal. I'm not getting booked to speak, or I don't know how to sell this book. So I help persons also, through my marketing and monetization academy to do that. But my personal website, if you want me to speak, or if you want me to speak, if you want to purchase my books also, because my books are, really empowering you to walk into purpose, you can go to Crystal Daye, DAYE.com for the website. And something I would say to somebody, I believe that everybody has the power to write a book, but everybody don't. And so it's not that you can't, it's just that you won't, and it's two different things. So can't mean of your ability to, and we all have the ability to do greater than we can, ask, think, or imagine. But many of us just won't because of our own limitations that we put on ourselves, and not necessarily limitations that actually exist.
Right. Yes. Tell us more about the book, Dear Insecurity, A Woman's Guide to Release Self-Doubt and Activate Your Gifts.
Ooh, Dear Insecurity. So just quick backstory about Dear Insecurity. So as I mentioned, I'm the eldest of my family, of my siblings, right? And I had a sister. She was 21 years old at the time. That was in 2018. She got ill in 2018. And, as a Christian woman, I'm praying, I'm seeking the Lord, like, hey, she's going to get healed. And on December the 4th, 2018, she, while I was there, holding her hand, she took her last breath and she died. And when I backtracked, she was 21 at the time when she died. And when I backtrack about a conversation that we were having about 2 months when she was in the hospital, she was saying to me that, Crystal, I, know that I'm sick, I wish that I didn't allow insecurity to pump me out of a lot of my dreams. And she would say, I always admire how you just go out there and go get it. And I'm like, boy, I was saying to her that there's so many things that I wanted to go after, but I've allowed insecurity to hold me back. And it was just a moment that we both of us kind of realize how insecurity is not our friend, especially as a woman. Insecurity punk us out of going after the things that God has had for us. But we had decided that, because she enjoyed writing also, so we decided that we're going to write this book called Dear Insecurity, to tell women to say bye. But she had died. So, after she died, it took me 2 years. I just did not have any desire at all to write it because it felt so personal. And then one day I was just thinking, I think it was probably around her birthday. And I was just thinking, how can I leave a legacy for her, even though she has gone? And I decided to write the book. And really it is, I call it an activation guide. When you read it, I mean, men, women, persons that have read it just felt like it was their activation tool to say, hey, go after all that you can, don't let anything punk you out of the dreams, and just use your gifts to bless others. Because after this life and you're gone, what legacy will you create? And that is why that book came about. And that is so in the book I talk about different tools that I've used to overcome my own insecurity. And one of the major things I would leave with persons, when I was praying, I was like, Lord, how do I get over insecurity? And a lot of times we were taught that how to move on from insecurity is to get more confidence. And I'm like, I'm not a pretty confident person. And then I felt like the Lord was saying to me that no, the antidote for insecurity is not self-confidence, it is actually identity. The more you know who you are in me and who I am, is the more you desire to do and become. And once I started to get that and understand that who I am, that any limitations limitations that I have, like I mentioned earlier, it's not because I am limited, it's because I have placed limitations on myself. And, I believe that I'm a great example growing up, as I mentioned, sleeping on the ground, growing up in our board house with outside toilet facilities, growing up in such poverty, and where I'm at right now, I am the author of 10 books. I'm an international speaker. I'm always on, I have my own talk show. I have a podcast with almost 100,000 downloads. I have defied the odds of what, somebody that I've said goodbye insecurity looks like.
Wow. Yes, 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 yes. And tell us more about how the books opened up the opportunity to speaking and the stage you've been on. Tell us some more about that.
Yeah, so it's funny because, again, I'm a storyteller at heart, right? So when I was graduating high school, I was graduating high school as one of the top girls in the school, and I was nominated to be valedictorian. And I said to them, before I speak in public, I will not come to my graduation. I would even consider speaking in public because I was very insecure about my voice. I was very insecure about my, just everything about speaking. So fast forward, again, after my pursuit of purpose, and I started to just I started blogging online, and persons would start to invite me to speak. And I was like, what is happening? And, when I realized that when I started speaking, persons would, their life, I just watch people just say, how their lives has been transformed based on things that I would say. Fast forward, when my book came out, even though I was getting speaking engagement before, when my book came out, it actually catapulted my speaking platform to a different level, because one, I was automatically seen as an authority. Two, I was also seen as a thought leader in the space. Three, speaking allowed me to be able to share the message to the masses more, and then they buy the book as an additional tool for it. So definitely I've seen how becoming an author has definitely catapulted my professional speaking engagement, to the point that, even when I just started to get paid for speaking, I'm like, why are they paying me? It was so weird, because I'm like, I would speak for free, but then I've also been able to know, just get speaking engagement that are paying me 5 figures right now.
Wow, wow, wow. And what was one of the best memories of speaking on stage, and how did it impact you?
Wow, that's a very, very hard one. That's a very hard one, because I literally speak on platforms at least 80 times per year on a monthly basis. I don't mean my personal platform. I mean when persons book me. So I would say one of my favorite, I wouldn't say my favorite, but one of the most impactful one was in 2017, when I was booked to speak at the US Embassy here in Jamaica. And for me, that was at 2017, my book just came out a year before. Persons have been watching me online. And when I got that message about coming to speak at the embassy, I'm like, what? Funny, because they wanted me to speak about spiritual development. And, knowing what you know about the US and, religion, I was very scared to go and share my truth. Now, if my truth is not to force God on anybody, is not to force Christianity on anybody, because, they would always say God is a gentleman, he doesn't force himself. So it wasn't that, it was more, would they accept what my journey really looks like? And I was tempted to say no, but I remember saying to the person, I don't think that I'm the person for this. And they say, well, we have been watching you, we've been watching your journey online, and I think you're the perfect person. And that was very encouraging. So when I went and I shared, it was just a blessing to see how, just being you can really open the doors to major speaking engagement. And, persons had bought, I probably would have taken about 20 books, because in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, nobody's going to buy my book and stuff. But, all the books were sold out, and it's still one of my favorite, because I think that was one of the ones that I was very afraid to do.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So tell us again the website and your YouTube channel.
Yes, so like I mentioned, so my website is Dayelight, Dayelight, daylightpublishers.com, or Crystal, Crystal Daye.com. So those are my website. My YouTube, once you type in Crystal Daye on YouTube, you'll see me. I do have my own talk show and my talk show, it's the Daylight Show, and it is on the largest Christian Caribbean network in the Caribbean. I just finished season 1. I'm preparing to record for season 2, and that shows you the power of, again, because I've always felt like, I can talk on podcasts because nobody see me, but in front of TV, no. So that was another moment of me saying goodbye to insecurity over and over again. So you can definitely, once you type in Crystal Daye or the Daylight Show, you can go and watch those episodes. It's really an amazing show. My podcast is the Diary of a Jesus Girl podcast, where, it's always about having conversations that people don't want to have. So we talk about abortions, we talk about pornography, we talk about things that people are afraid to talk about. So once you go on YouTube and you type in my name, you'll see, various things. And again, please go and follow me on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere, because I do believe that for me, social media is a ministry. I'm always there to empower. I dub myself the Millionaire Motivator. So I'm here to motivate many others, millions, to meet millions and to reach millions too.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Awesome. I love everything you shared. I hope people are really, really like getting ready to go do something, because it's just too much, you're just, God is just blessing you. And I'm just happy to share this with you and just hear everything that you're doing.
And just as we close, one of the things I would say, because sometimes we are tempted to feel like, that is just her, that's just her, she's this unicorn, it's just, and I can tell you that is not the truth. You understand? Like everybody else that is listening to this, I could have chosen another path for my life. It's a daily choice to show up in your greatness. So the 3 tips I would leave with each of you as I end, just to, 1, get out of your own way, get out of your own head, and, just say goodbye to insecurity. 2 is to live a life bigger than you. So every day I'm asking myself, how can I leave a legacy beyond me? And that's a legacy for my daughter, as a single mother. That's a legacy for my siblings. That's a legacy for, my mentees that are coming up, right? So how can I live a life bigger than you? And the final one I would say, is just to own your happiness. One of the things that I have said to myself is, whatever brings me joy, that's what I will do more of. And I find that as people, we're tempted to stay stuck in the things that brings us less peace, so we stay in relationships that are not brings us joy. We stay in friendship that doesn't it's almost like we are immune to this thing of, like we are attracted to struggle love, struggle, you understand? And one of the things I've decided to do is to own my happiness. So the things that brings me more joy, I do more of, and I've just seen how my life has been changing since then. So I hope these tips will bless you.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm gonna stop it there. Oh, let me just say thank you guys for joining us with Crystal Daye, and keep coming back for more from different authors and publishers. And we're going to just keep inspiring you and encouraging you so that you will write and not give up and be inspired to keep going and believe in yourself. Okay, so let me just stop it there.